City carrying that NUIC banner here today. The give is to Schaney, and he's in for the touchdown. Eric Schaney from 3 yards out, and the Wildcats score first.
Good drive down the field right there. Good surge by Schaney. Schaney's been one of their top runners all year long. That's just a good effort on his part right there. 215 pounds makes a difference when you're down on the goal line. The official will tell him right there to kind of slow down with the gestures. Just hand me the football, act like you've been there before.
Schaney epitomizes the banner we saw last week in Lanark, hanging from the fire engine in the parking lot just outside the end zone. Here comes the boom. That's some serious boom there. Eight play drive, 70 yards, 218. Eric Schaney taking it home from 3 yards out.
You can see the surge right there, but he actually doesn't get to the hole because it's filled very quickly, and he's basically tackled into the end zone. A double team on the nose man, and the linebacker steps up, but you better step up a lot faster and a lot deeper into the backfield to stop Eric Schaney at 215 pounds. He wanted to get in that end zone, and that's exactly what he did.
You think most of those guys with the collar rolls, it's going to take more than one guy to bring them down, right?
There's an awful lot to that visual, if you will.
Yeah.
You see guys with the neck roll like that, and you're thinking, mercy, what's he covering up?
It's kind of a Larry Zonka look for those of us old enough to remember the '72 Dolphins.
Well, as expected right here, good drive on the parts of both teams. And what I like is, you know, after that first ball game, which was an outstanding football game, especially on this week in the state championships, I love to see these teams build on each other. Each game gets better and better as you're going along. And when you get to this stage of the season for both teams, it's really great when everything's on the line and they both play their best game. I really am disappointed when a team says, well, we didn't play that well. You want them both to really play well and let the best team win.
Alex Geese with the return, looks left, nowhere to go, and stopped at the 21-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the return. Let's go downstairs to Kelly.
Well, guys, probably the biggest difference this year for the Trojans has been a healthy Jack Hockaday. Last year, he was slowed in the postseason by a high ankle sprain and Achilles injury, basically in that playoff loss in the second round, playing on one leg. It really forced Coach Jostas to reevaluate his offense and make it more run-friendly this year. Lee?
All right, Kelly, thank you. Here's Hockaday looking to throw. Looking deep for Whitaker. David Whitaker was the intended receiver, but overthrown at midfield. It'll bring up second down.
You got to take into account that wind. He's got a pretty strong crosswind going right with him right now. That fake right there was to pull the corner back up. He had the corner beat, but the wind just took the ball and sailed a wee bit on him. Jack Hockaday showing a lot of versatility here, both running the football and his ability to throw the football.
Stay on the ground this time, and Josh Jostas will tell you that he's a better runner than his brother Luke, who was the quarterback on the '06 2A champs. Luke a little more vertical in his passing game. They had another brother, Joe, who was a wide receiver on the 2010 2A second place team. And of course, Jack, quarterback of the 2A state champs 2 years ago.
Well, whenever you find a quarterback that runs the ball 19 times and averages 137 yards a ball game, you know that you've got a pretty good athlete back there.
3rd and 5, he's going to be held short. Bring up 4th down. And quarterback is such a, it's a huge position on any team, really, even if you're not a throwing team. But Josh Joseph has been 15 years at Maroa-Forsyth. He's only had 6 quarterbacks, and 2 of them were Hockadays. Logan Stelzariti, another good quarterback there.
Do you think there's any favoritism there? Somebody might say, well, how come it's always a Hockaday? Well, it's pretty good athletes.
Last year for that. They're going to go for it on 4th. Luke Hockaday, I told you I'd call him Luke. Jack Hockaday gets it out to the 40-yard line. He had 170 yards rushing and a touchdown on the ground against Escola in the semifinal win last week.
Now, most people would say, wow, what a call, 4th down, and you're going for it. But when you got a back like that, you've got such tremendous confidence in what he can do, and also what the offensive line can do. You can see a good job there by the pulling guard getting out in front of him. Eric Inda getting knocked over basically by the quarterback.
Hockaday running left, throwing. Howell is wide open. Incomplete. Boy, he got popped by Walter Ollie there. Man, oh man, Howell was open. It was a little bit behind him. I'm not sure if he actually had the beginnings of a catch there. It looked like he got his hands on it. Let's take another look.
Great job, Lee, by the safety. He stayed back. A lot of players will come racing up when they see the quarterback doing that. He stayed back, not attempting to come up on the run to help out, and he's actually the one that made the play coming across the field with that big hit.
Ollie didn't knock it loose, but boy, he let Chad Howell know that that's his territory.
Oh, yeah. You start flinching coming across the middle again.
Hockaday fakes the pitch, keeps it, and stopped after a gain of maybe a couple.
Actually, what's happened on a couple of these plays for Hockaday is that his pulling linemen are slowing him down out in front of him. You'll see him bang into one of the linemen right there. And this happened on a couple other plays going to the outside. He's actually outrunning his linemen, and part of that is because of the penetration of the defensive line.
3rd and 8. Hockaday throws it out in the flat and a drop ball. Jackson Nelson into the lineup. Couldn't hang on to that one. That'll bring up 4th down for the Trojans. Just 2 of 7 on 3rd down.
This is a good job right here of the defense. You can see them all sliding over there. I mean, it obviously was a poor throw, but just a good idea of how the defense is reacting and flowing to the football.
Hockaday on his own 30. End over ender, and it takes a Maroa bounce. It's going to go all the way down inside the 20-yard line. How about that? 44 yards with the roll for Hockaday. Eastland Pearl City with the lead of the ball when we come back.
TV. IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
Eastland Pearl City, the 7-0 lead over Maroa-Forsyth. Eastland Pearl City up 7-0, and they take over at their own 15-yard line. Done a good job. They've kept Maroa-Forsyth out of the end zone to this point. About 3 minutes gone here in the second quarter. Ollie still on his feet. Thought he was brought down, but he kept going out to the 31-yard line, a pickup of 16 for Walter Ollie.
Nice job.
Look, they almost got him here.
They really did. A good job right there by the offensive line, but a good cutback, putting his hand down to keep his balance.
Great
and
balance.
Keep him going forward. He's had over 1,000 yards of rushing and 17 touchdowns this year, so it kind of tells you what kind of an athlete he is and how versatile he is.
Matt mentioned that he tore his meniscus against Amboy, and then his first week back after the injury ran for 206 yards in the win over #1 ranked Rockridge. Heron the throw and complete to Brighton Haberland. what a game he had against Fieldcrest. He had a touchdown catch. He's 6'5", 200-pound sophomore, and what a mismatch he can create on the side.
Well, he really can, and that was a long throw going back into that crosswind, but they want to get movement and safety, get him out of here, but this is just a good job right here. You can see the corner coming up and making an open field tackle. That's Sam Stugstill. And when you're on an island like that, if you don't make that tackle, it can result in a touchdown. You can see how he gets banged around here after the throw. That's part of football, son.
First time, first catch of the game for Eastland Pearl City. This is the third time, rather, in 10 years that the NIUC Northwest Illini Conference has two teams playing for the state title.
Whenever you have teams that have 2 or 3 people going to the playoffs, you know that you've had the type of competition that'll get you down to the state championship game, because it's like playoff during regular conference play.
Here's the pitch to Ollie, and good pursuit that time. Luke Hockaday in on the tackle. Luke Hockaday has verbally committed to Iowa. He has not signed.
Well, I'd like him to sign.
He got 7 offers from the Big Ten. He was offered by Duke and Vanderbilt as well.
I'd like him to go to University of Iowa. My daughter Karen and my daughter Megan went to the University of Iowa, and I watch Iowa football, go to a lot of those games, so I don't want to be...
I'm sure that's part of his decision-making process.
I'm sure it is. Do you think? He's just an outstanding football player.
Well, it's been so much fun watching his whole family. I mean, we've literally seen the family grow up here on this turf. Luke, a quarterback on the 06 2A champs. Their dad, John, is the quarterback's coach. Luke is actually an assistant coach now. So it's a family affair for the Hockaday family. We've got a timeout. 7-0, Eastland Pearl City the lead.
Motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
Seven 0 Eastland Pearl City leading Maroa-Forsyth. 7:07 to go here in the second quarter. Up next, it's Wilmington and Williamsville for the 3A state title. Derek Leonard and Rochester back again. They play Phillips for the 4A state title. That's the rest of the action here today from Champaign. Heron, nobody open. Good coverage downfield, and he is brought down by Connor Isles. 5'11" sophomore, number 32 there on your screen.
Yeah, they're coming out of the wishbone formation right there. You can see Hockaday and the other linebackers just sliding over to take away those underneath routes. Good penetration and good discipline right there to keep him inside. Just really good defense right there.
3rd and 11 for the Wildcats. 3 straight 9-0 conference titles for Eastland Pearl City. Aaron out to Ollie, a high throw. He lucky to hang on to that. Kind of tapped it to himself, but it's going to bring up 4th down for the Wildcats.
You can see right here, he sees the pressure immediately, and that kind of takes him off of his look down the field to his primary receiver. The moment he got that pressure coming into his face right there, you could see he had to slide over, and he goes to the dump route out on the outside, and he has to make a little tip catch to himself.
Eric Schaney with the punt. Nice boot. Bounce inside the 20 and take a nice little roll down to the 11-yard line for Eric Schaney. 48 yards on that punt, so Maroa-Forsyth will start kind of in the shadow of their own goal line here.
I don't think that they really believe that the Wildcats were going to punt because they didn't have anybody back to handle that. And I mean, that ball was coming from midfield, so I don't know if that was a miscue or what, but you can't let the ball bounce on turf because you're going to get an awful lot of extra yardage after the initial hit.
We'll talk about that more with you a little bit later. We'll get first down play here from Jack Hockaday. The handoff. DeAndre Gregory, the freshman, in for the carry there. We talked about the Hockaday boys, and Jack, of course, playing for the state championship here today. And brother Joe, the wide receiver on the 2010 2A second place team. Luke, quarterback on the 06 2A champs. Sister Rachel's a volleyball All-American at Iowa State. As Jack carries for the first down. And there you go, Happy Hockaday.
What a great
Happy
collage.
Hockadays.
What a great collage that is, along with your singing.
Yeah, well, I was told I couldn't get the graphic if I didn't get the singing. And a shout out to Mom, Cheryl Hockaday. Her sister is my neighbor back in Morton, Illinois, and boy, what a great football mom she has been, and Dad, John, a coach on this team.
Oh.
And then, oh boy, Jack is picked up by Walter Ollie. An unhappy Hockaday as Walter Ollie comes up with the pick and brings it back 28 yards.
Well, that was kind of an ill-advised throw because he was almost double covered on the backside besides the ball hanging up. He's looking at it the whole way, and that's why he's getting pressure, and then the safety's able to make the break and cut on the football because Hockaday looked him the entire time. Good return, good field position right here. And this is what you need in big games, a turnover. Now, can they take advantage of this turnover? That's always the difference.
That's Ollie's 7th interception in his last 6 games.
Well, he's a ball hawk, but it also helps when the quarterback gives you a straight look at who he's going to with the ball.
Chance for Eastland Pearl City to add to their 7-0 lead here before the half. Schaney, not much there.
Well, interesting how they decide which formation to come out of. There they came out of the wishbone look, and they bounced around from the spread to the wishbone. You can't get any more extreme than those two formations.
We talk about what a great program Maroa-Forsyth has been through the years. Randy Ashey in his 8th season, 68-19 at Eastland Pearl City. He's an old Pearl City guy. 32-2 his last 3 seasons as head coach. 2nd and 7 for his Wildcats right here.
Jet sweep.
Rosinger, the man in motion, takes the handoff, but no room to go there. He's brought down for no gain.
Well, part of that play when you run that jet sweep is the side you're running it to. Those wide receivers have got to run off the defenders so that there's some room to run. In this case, they never did that. They just stayed static on the line of scrimmage. So consequently, there was nowhere to go for him and allowed the inside linebackers to come in and make the play. Good defensive job right there by Maroa-Forsyth. And again, it's good scouting on both sides of the defensive side for both teams. They've done a nice job in preparation.
3rd and 8, Heron.
Open.
Looking to throw, has a man, Cody Cluck, touchdown!
Nice.
24 yards.
Nice
Devin
throw.
Heron to Cody Cluck.
Nice throw and nice route right there. Well done. Very well executed. Gave him an inside cut and then broke it back out to the post. Gave him a post route and then he broke it to the flag. He looks away to the middle and then comes back. Good delivery. You can see right there. Nice throw. And that was really into a strong crosswind. And that ball kind of hung up a wee bit.
Cody Cluck is 9th touchdown catch of the year. That is the 12th touchdown pass for Devin Heron. Silas Jacobs, the point after attempt is good, and it's a 14-0 lead for Eastland Pearl City.
Good job right here. He kind of looks off a wee bit, but there's a good quick route to post to the inside and cuts back to the outside. Good delivery. Just that little movement right there with his head looking to the middle, caught that cornerback off about a step, and that allowed the receiver to get back inside. Good throw, good catch.
Cody Cluck celebrating the touchdown catch. He had a touchdown catch in the semifinals against Fieldcrest a week ago. 14-0, the Eastland Pearl City lead. And how about their defense? I mean, they've given Jack Hockaday some room to run, but they haven't allowed Maroa-Forsyth really anywhere near the end zone.
Well, they really haven't. What they're going to say at this point is, okay, if you want to run the ball down the field with Hockaday, we're going to give you that, but we're not going to give you the big play with the pass. And what they're doing is there's a little frustration there because obviously Hockaday threw that ball into double coverage, and it was not a well-advised throw. And, they get good field position, drive the ball down the field. And, in big games like this, sometimes only 1 or 2 turnovers can make a big difference if the other team takes advantage of those turnovers.
Interesting, the philosophies, how Maroa-Forsyth added more run game to their offense. So to guard against bad weather come playoff time, Eastland Pearl City has added passing to their offense to be more than one-dimensional in the postseason. Let's go downstairs to Matt Rodewald real quick.
Everyone's been enjoying this, at least on this sideline. They've been loving it so far. Eastland Pearl City with a 14-0 lead. Coming up here at the break, we'll break down the statistics, go through some of the highlights for you, and we'll check out a full slate of football for you both today and tomorrow. Got one Northwest Upstate Illini champion. Could we have 2, Lee and Jack? Looks like it, if it holds up.
Thanks, Matt. Back to that point we were making about kind of this adding to your game, so to speak.
Well, the one thing is, a lot of these schools, the smaller schools, don't all have turf. And that makes a big difference as far as if you're running the football or throwing the football. When you get down here, elements don't make all that much of a difference because the footing's the same for everybody. And there really is a difference in game planning when you're on turf all year long as opposed to once in a while. That's when the elements come into effect, Lee.
Not to mention the elephants.
That too. That would maybe have a major effect.
Hockaday just about a yard short there. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
There's another interesting point, too. You see the linebacker right there. You got a quarterback wearing gloves on both hands.
Makes the handoff and met in the backfield. Michael Sheriff, the 6'3 senior, kept Hockaday short on 3rd down. It'll bring up 4th down now and a long one for Maroa-Forsyth.
Good penetration right there. You can see the fake they pull the linebacker, they pull the backside tackle to lead him around. It doesn't fool anybody. You can see the penetration coming up. Right now, what's happening is the line of scrimmage is being controlled both offensively and defensively by Eastland Pearl City. They are dominating the line of scrimmage, and at this point, that's been the difference in the ball game.
Lost his hat.
Timeout.
Don't want to lose your hat down there, do you?
I wouldn't want to lose it up here either.
Eastland Pearl City trying to make it 2 state championships today for the Northwest. I'm going to get the name of this conference right before it's the death of me. Northwest Upstate Illini. I had it earlier. Carrollton taking on Forreston. Jacob Smith, the 51-yard touchdown run for Carrollton, but it was Forreston with the huge game on the ground. Robert DeVries, the quarterback, leading the way as Forreston joins that long line of Northwest Upstate Illini Conference football champions. Or they're close to 300 yards rushing, I believe.
Yes, very much so. And in a game like this, you're looking at 2 other teams that are almost a mirror image of that first ball game from the standpoint of offensively, yardage, and the type of things that they do. Both teams average over 400 yards of total offense. And we really haven't seen that thus far. It's been more of a low-scoring game as we saw in the first game because these teams, a lot of people look at statistics, and usually it's the offensive statistics, and they lose sight of how well these teams play defense. And that's exactly what they've been doing in both ball games.
And the time of possession tells a story here too, I think, Jack, because that first possession Maroa-Forsyth had 6 minutes 47 seconds, and then they eventually turned it over on downs. But then the last 3 drives since then, 1:51, 2:33, and 58 seconds. They haven't been able to sustain a drive since that opening salvo against Eastland Pearl City.
Well, and I think part of that has to do with the line of scrimmage. It's being dominated right now by Eastland Pearl City, and they have nowhere to go.
4th and 1. Hockaday's the punter. He could punt out of this formation.
Well, you can't take those timeouts with you, so another timeout's called.
Maroa-Forsyth, an IHSA record 11,300 total yards this season. Having a tough go of it here, though, against this Eastland Pearl City Wildcats defense. They are run stoppers. They held Fieldcrest Grant Yoakams to 50 yards on 18 carries, and he's an 1,800-yard rusher, and really stopped him. And you talked about conditions, kind of a wet, slick field last week, and Eastland Pearl City did a great job defensively against one of the best rushers in Central Illinois. Wilmington and Williamsville coming up next here from Champaign, followed by Phillips and Rochester. And it's another double dip of Leonard's, because we get Derek today and we get Dad tomorrow as Sacred Heart Griffin out of Springfield takes on Lombard Montini. Nazareth Academy against Lamont. Cary Grove, Providence Catholic coming up in the 7A state championship, and Stevenson and Homewood Flossmoor.
That's an interesting game there. That 8A Stevenson played the number 2 ranked team in the state last week in Glenbard West and won with a minute left in the ball game, and actually had played Homewood Flossmoor earlier in the year and beat them after coming back from a 20-point deficit. So that 8A game is going to be a barn burner also. Whoa!
That's not Hockaday there in to punt either. That's Tyler Ray.
Oh, and he coughed it up.
And he loses it, and Eastland Pearl City's going to get outstanding field position with 1:47 left. Hockaday is their normal punter, but that was Tyler Ray, number 8 in there. He mishandled the snap. Why would you in the state championship game?
Well, there could have been a slight injury with Hockaday, but the point being on that particular call, there he is on the sideline, is you're bringing in a young man to come in who has not been in the ball game whatsoever to take that first snap. He's cold, jostles the ball, and then when he tries to run, he gives up the ball. So can they take advantage of this going into halftime? We'll see.
And down inside the 20. Donnie Grosinger takes it in. He did a little bit of everything, 17 yards on that carry. Did a little bit of everything in the win over Fieldcrest. He scored a touchdown via a punt return, a catch. He had a TD run, and he threw for a touchdown against Fieldcrest. And a big carry there with 1:35 left in the first half.
Well, coming out of the wishbone again, second man through on the belly play, fake to the fullback, give it to the second man. And Maroa-Forsyth would have nothing to do with that one, although they still picked up 3, and that's what you need to do on first down, get 3 or 4.
Rosier again on the carry.
You actually have 4 downs, obviously, to get 10 yards when you're down here in the red zone, and now can they take advantage of it? That's the difference in winning the state championship. You get a big turnover, you get momentum, Big Mo going for you into the halftime. Can you take advantage of it with a score?
Already up 14-0. A mishandled snap on a punt has Eastland Pearl City now 2 yards away from the end zone. Cody Cluck with the catch, pick up of 10. He's had a couple of big catches today.
This is a good throw right here. It doesn't have a lot of zip on the ball because he's throwing into a slight wind, but it shows you the confidence that the coach has in his quarterback to be throwing the football down here in the state championship game when they're basically more or less a running team. And it looks like they're going to get a mark on about the 1 foot.
Pearl City says touchdown, but it's going to be marked just short.
And there in the keeper. There's on the tackle.
Randy Ashton.
The second
Tell
goal.
him to get that in. You don't want to be wasting a lot of time down here. Fullback, quarterback sneak. They're not giving any mark yet.
Heron kept it.
Clock's running.
They've got 2 timeouts left. Look at the officials looking in there. They want to know what's going on too. Touchdown!
Now he actually went right in underneath the center. In fact, it almost looked like he made that quarterback sneak between the center's legs. There wasn't much of a surge by that offensive line for that quarterback sneak to be successful. You can see where he goes down right there. That's what kind of surprised me, because we had that late call. And that's a good look at it right there. He didn't get much footing or surge to take that in, but he got it.
I think he fell down right on the goal line, and that's good enough. Silas Jacobs, the point after. Not pretty, but
Not
it's
pretty.
good.
Little draw
and it's a 21. Yeah, it's you're more of a slice guy.
No, I like the draw. The only thing I like to slice is a good T-bone.
Boy, I set you up there, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. 21-0. Eastland Pearl City. 5-play drive, 35 yards. Only took them a minute 35 after that mishandled snap on the punt.
That's a big turnover where you can take advantage of it, especially with this situation going into halftime. Now, had they gone in the halftime 14, that's one thing, but to take a touchdown in with less than 30 seconds left in the ball game, it's tough for Maroa-Forsyth now to make adjustments. And 21 points in a game like this is, when you're not really a big passing team, is going to be difficult. They're going to have to do a good drive in that coming out in the second half. Get right back in this ball game as soon as possible.
Eastland Pearl City has wasted no time on their scoring drives. 2 minutes 18 seconds, a minute 24, and a minute 35. So, not hey, used to wasting a lot of time out there. Just get it done, right? Get her done.
When you have all that offense and that firepower, big plays make a difference, and they were able to capitalize on some big plays that kept drives going.
Well, and Forreston coach Denny Diddick before the game said about Eastland Pearl City, you have to keep their offense off the field and you can't turn the ball over. And we saw Maroa turn the ball over, and now a flag comes in as Hockaday returns that kickoff.
There's a 50 flag on the play.
Out to about the 30-yard line. The flag at the 25. Very likely against Maroa.
Receiving team.
Well, I think maybe Maroa might be thinking anything that could go wrong has gone wrong for us in this first half. So if we can come out and play our type of game in the second half, we can get right back into this football game, because the breaks have not gone their way in this first half.
Josh Jostis can't be pleased with the way this first half has gone for his Maroa-Forsyth team. Down 21-0 here. Hockaday will make one effort at it. Still on his feet, out to the 35, and that's how the first half will end. So a play befitting the first half for Maroa-Forsyth. Yards for Hockaday, but no points. That was the story of the first half for Maroa.
And I'm sure that the Wildcats will settle for that, and they know the reputation of Maroa-Forsyth coming in the ball game as far as their tradition and their comeback ability. But if you can stop a running team like this and force them to throw the ball, it plays right into your hands, and I think that's what could happen in the second half.
Let's go downstairs to Maddie's with Randy Ashe.
Well, considering how much of a high-powered offense Maroa-Forsyth has, how happy are you that you've kept them off the board in that first half?
Well, I'm happy about that, but we've given up a few things, so we got to tighten down just a little bit. They had some things they didn't execute real well. They had some guys open. We were lucky, came over, got some good hits. We got to tighten down just a little bit more too.
Your offense has been able to get some quick scoring drives, so do you want to sustain those, or do you like what you got so far?
I like what we got so far. I'm going to take the opportunities when you get them. If we're going to break one, we're going to break one. If we can get over top, we're going to get over top. So we just got to stay with it. Just keep executing. That's just all the guys got to do.
Tell me about getting to this point in an undefeated season. You guys have had undefeated seasons, and now you're 24 minutes away from a state championship. What do you tell your seniors? What do you tell the rest of the team?
Play the next 24 minutes for the next 24 minutes. It's all you can do. You're creating opportunities to play some more. This is the end. Play the best of your ability. Have fun with it, and just enjoy this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. So just trying to tell them to enjoy it. Finish.
You do the same, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Coach Randy Ashley, the head coach of Eastland Pearl City. Lee, send it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Matt. 21-0 Eastland Pearl City. Pretty dominant in the first half. We'll see what the second half holds.
The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is opportunity, participation, character, courage, sportsmanship. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
Eastland Pearl City with a 21-0 lead on Maroa-Forsyth here at the break of our Class 2A state championship game. Matt Rudolph with you here all day long because we have 4 football games for you. We have Forston, already a state champ, winning 20-15 over Carrollton. So congratulations to all the Cardinal fans up there in Forston as they get their first state championship in school history. And so you have the Northwest Upstate Illini represented in Class 1A. We'll see if Class 2A can come through if the score holds up. Eastland Pearl City trying to win this one. Our 3A game next up, a battle of unbeatens between Wilmington and Williamsville, two of the teams that have been ranked in the top 3 all season long. We expect a good one for our 3A matchup. And then Class 4A, history in the making. Phillips representing all of Chicago. Everyone paying attention in Cook County. Folks from Phillips trying to be the first school in CPS history to win a state championship. And in the meantime, Rochester, 4 straight state titles, trying to become the first public school in the state of Illinois to win 5 straight state championships. It's a busy day, lots of football, more tomorrow, but first we got one to finish up here. Halftime score, Eastland Pearl City, the Wildcats, 21-0 on Maroa-Forsyth at the break.
A restaurant with a view, a game day bus, a kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial, grow your own way.
The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
It's 21-0. Eastland Pearl City leading Maroa-Forsyth here at the breaks. Folks from Lanark and also folks from Pearl City and Shannon are thrilled at the score so far, and they hope it can hold up for a state championship for the Wildcats, or for some in Pearl City, it'll be the Wolves as they split off to play basketball. Welcome in again back to Memorial Stadium. Matt Rodewald with you here. We had a good one so far in our first game and a good one so far in our second game. You get a little bit loose there as far as Eastland Pearl City putting that 3-touchdown lead on the board, but you can imagine with the offensive firepower from the Trojans, Maroa-Forsyth will be back in this before you know it as we start the second half. Let's send it upstairs and check in with Lee Hall and Jack McInerney. Gentlemen.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Of course, this is where all the adjustments take place, Jack, is at halftime, and Maroa-Forsyth has to find a way to get back to what worked for them in that first drive, because it really hasn't since then.
It really hasn't, but what I find that's very interesting is that Eastland's not at all intimidated by the reputation of Maroa-Forsyth. Now, that's something could oftentimes with kids, they look at the past reputation and say it's an intimidating team. That hasn't been the case thus far. Getting back to that, you're exactly right. They're going to try and force Maroa-Forsyth to throw the football, and they might have to get back in this ball game.
Well, and that's one thing Josh Joseph will tell you, too, is the reputation precedes them a lot of times. And he says sometimes we feel like we're up 14-0 when we get off the bus. Of course, Eastland Pearl City, I mean, they're not intimidated by state champions. They play them every week in their conference.
They really do, and obviously this is a perfect example of that. We talked about deer in the headlights. That's not the case here.
No.
We're seeing two teams that are playing extremely well, but Eastland Pearl City really is not intimidated one bit.
Now Maroa-Forsyth has to find a way to get Jack Hockaday time, space to make the kind of plays that we know he can make.
Well, I think what has to happen is they got to do a better job of spreading the field, because they are really closing in on him. He's got two people spying on him, and those both are basically the inside linebackers. They're not giving him a chance to run. Now, when he has been successful, he's gotten help down the field, but right now they're going to have to throw the ball to loosen up those linebackers so he has a chance to run.
All right, for Eastland Pearl City, interesting to hear Randy Ashe talk about it. I mean, you look at those drives. I mean, we saw an 8-minute drive in the first game from Forest, and Eastland Pearl City's drives have all been less than 3 minutes, but here they are up 21-0 at halftime.
And actually, when we look at the statistics, they are really close. I'm talking about within 25 yards of each other, but yet the score is not that very close. So what happens is they take advantage of the big third down conversions that they have made and turn them into touchdowns, and that so far has been the key, along with the fact that they've had some turnovers by Maroa-Forsyth that they have taken advantage of.
And you know, we talk a lot about the offensive players, but Eastland Pearl City's defense, I mean, the job that they have done against an all-stater like Jack Hockaday in this first half has been very, very impressive.
Well, again, we talked about during the game, we talked about how both teams average over 40 points a game and over 400 yards of total offense. But what happens is when you have that kind of an offensive thing, what they do is they don't understand how good their defenses really are.
Yeah. Perfect so far, up 21-0, Eastland Pearl City at the half. Got second half action coming your way from Champaign.
The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is opportunity, participation, character, courage, sportsmanship. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
Time, the Wildcats with a Z. Oh yeah, gotta have that Z. It's 21-0. Eastland Pearl City with the lead here at the break on Maroa-Forsyth. Busy day all day long. Let's go through it real quick. And you had Forreston winning the Class 1A title earlier this afternoon. Later on, we're going to have Wilmington and Williamsville, a pair of 13-0 teams. Phillips and Rochester, the much-talked-about matchup for the nightcap for tonight. And then a busy day tomorrow as the bigger schools take advantage. It's Montini and Sacred Heart Griffin. That's our first game of the day. Lamont and Nazareth, another battle of unbeatens. Cary Grove and Providence Catholic in our 7A title game. That should be a hard-hitting football game. And then Stevenson and Homewood Flossmoor will wrap up the night and the season. Let's send it upstairs. Lee and Jack, guys.
All right, Matt Rodewald, thank you very much. Eastland Pearl City, very dominant here in the first half, 21-0. And then I'm thinking, if I'm Eastland Pearl City, how do I keep this going in the second half? How do you not keep the momentum shift from happening?
Well, you don't allow it to happen. You just tell them, look at the scoreboard. We're starting out the state championship game, only starting in the second half. It's 0-0. Don't even waste your time and look at the scoreboard and the numbers. We got to come out and play the same way we did in the first half.
Eric Schaney got the scoring started for Eastland Pearl City, put them up 7-0. Then it was Devin Herron to Cody Cluck, 24 yards on the pitch and catch, 14-0. And then after that bad snap on a punt and the turnover by Maroa, Herron crawled in from a yard out and made it 21-0. And that, everything was in Eastland Pearl City's favor, and then that extra little helping of hospitality there at the end.
Well, look
to
at
make
the
it
total.
21-0.
You look at the total yards right there, 165 to 154. You'd never realize that the score is almost as lopsided as it is right now at 21-zip. I mean, you'd think that the stats would be a lot more challenged than they are.
And the two turnovers costing Maroa-Forsyth as well. And you're going to look at Hockaday's numbers, 4 of 12 passing, 33 yards, 97 yards on the ground, but no pay dirt. Let's go downstairs to Kelly.
Well, with head coach Josh Jostas, Coach, you have experience on your side, some uncharacteristic mistakes in the first half. How do you settle your team down?
Well, hopefully they are settled down. We're going to make aggressive mistakes if we're going to make mistakes. You won't see any passive ones out there, so we're going to come out swinging.
You know, you were concerned about the line of scrimmage coming into this game. What adjustments will you make there and defensively in the second half?
You know, they're bigger than us, probably as fast as us, if not faster, and we came out and played, -3 turnovers, so we're right where we want to be, and we got to defend the pass better, and that becomes we'll be aggressive back there. Our kids know the one thing that's going to keep them off the field now is if I catch you playing passive, you won't be out there.
What was the overall message to the team?
Keep playing. We'll keep swinging.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach. Lee, back up to you.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. 21-0 our halftime score. We're back with the third quarter right after this on Comcast Sportsnet.
The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is opportunity, participation, character, courage, sportsmanship. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
Welcome back here to Memorial Stadium. 1924 this structure was first built, and it's housing the state championships here this weekend in Champaign-Urbana, the campus of the University of Illinois. Harold Red Grange keeping guard outside as these youngsters try and follow in his footsteps. Maroa-Forsyth down 21-0 here as we get ready to start the third quarter. Maroa-Forsyth out of the Okaw Valley Conference, enrollment of 312. Just north of Decatur on Route 51. Great atmosphere for high school football and a great deal building this program by Josh Joseph. We want to send a shout out to his father, Dennis, who underwent major surgery recently. He's in Macon with his folks, Ponch and Edie. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They're with my friend Julie Holtis down there from down that way. Now we've got to go over to talk about Eastland Pearl City. The Wildcats 13-0. It's a co-op. Enrollment of 345 when you combine Eastland and Pearl City. Nicknamed the Wildcats. Northwest Upstate Illini. How much have we talked about that conference here today? And they are trying to make it 2 in a row. Eastland High School in Lanark, Illinois. Of course, that co-op began in 1995. They made 6 quarterfinal appearances. And this is their first ever appearance in a state championship game. And going way back to Lanark High School, the Beavers made the 1984 1A state semifinals where they lost to Carthage. So there is some history there. And the interesting thing, too, Jack, for some of these schools in the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference, and Eastland Pearl City being one of them, is a lack of numbers in the program. Only 33 kids out from freshman, sophomore, and varsity. So that's becoming an increasing problem in the smaller schools.
Well, and I think that's probably why they're going to more of a co-op in a lot of these athletic programs. But that's also a tribute to the coaches that they do such an outstanding job with these small numbers, because your practice time needs to be so well organized because you don't have platoon football, and you got to coach these individual positions both offensively and defensively.
Walter Ollie takes Jack Hockaday's kickoff and takes it out to the 37-yard line. That's where Eastland Pearl City will start, ranked second in the state. Forreston coach Denny Diddick earlier talking about Eastland Pearl City, and when he thinks about him, the Jaws theme it runs through his mind. Dun 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 dun. You're in trouble, right?
I would think.
They had the misfortune of running into the Sterling Newmans and Morrisons of the world, keeping them from realizing their state dream in the past. But they are here today on the turf. Eric Schaney, the first carry of the second half. Eastland Pearl City up 21-0 on Maroa-Forsyth.
I think some of the adjustments that were made at halftime on the part of Maroa City were more on the offensive line standpoint and defensive line, because as I mentioned earlier, I think that the game really has been played in the trenches as far as who's winning the battle, and it's been very decisive for Eastland Pearl City. They've been controlling both lines of scrimmage.
Devin Herron off the fake. Out to Walter Ollie. Ollie played quarterback when Herron hurt his shoulder earlier in the year. We talk about Ollie playing hurt. Herron tore his labrum in his right shoulder in week 5 against Lena Winslow. Didn't throw any passes in the next game against Polo.
Well, sometimes when you have an offensive line and you have complete confidence in your running game, and depends again too on the opponent, what you can get away with, and/or what the scouting report was able to tell you about what you could do against them.
Backs in the eye on 3rd and 3. Herron rolling right and runs right into the defender Connor Isles, the sophomore, with the sack. We called his name a couple of times today. A loss of 10. Herron on the rollout, and the Maroa-Forsyth defense stepping things up here for Josh Jostis' team.
And that's exactly what you need, is a little change of momentum to start out the second half. You can see the pressure. He's actually blocked basically right into the quarterback, and now field position will be critical here for Maroa. Oh, that was almost
Schaney with
and
the
we
punt.
got a flag.
Stogsdill is going to be called for roughing the kicker. Tries to plead his case with the official, but it's to no avail.
This is a killer right here. This is a big
running into the kicker.
They had him stopped initially to change that momentum. They were going to get the ball in relatively good field position, and at this point there really is no chance of blocking the kick. And the whole idea is a pretty good job of acting right there. But he did make contact, so that's the call. So the official was correct.
I'm chuckling because Stogsdill is 154 pounds and Schaney's 215.
Right.
He's not your typical punter.
And in many cases, you see some of these people, you'd think that they're up for an Academy Award. These punters go down with such enthusiasm and grace.
Running into the kicker.
Now he's running into the kicker.
Decline. First down.
That really hurts big time. And it hurts early.
Well, they declined the penalty because it wouldn't have been a first down.
It would not have been a
right?
first down,
Right.
correct.
So no harm, no foul for Sam Stogsdill. And it's Maroa ball at their own 38-yard line. The first three and out today, rather, I should say, for Eastland Pearl City. So the Maroa-Forsyth defense comes up big. Hockaday gets some room to run and loses it in midfield. Oh my goodness, turns it over, and it looks like it's recovered by Eastland Pearl City. Oh my goodness. Maroa got a break on the roughing the kicker. And then they get it across midfield, and Hockaday turns it over. That's the 3rd turnover of the day. That's one thing you can't do against Eastland Pearl City. You can't do it in any state championship game, is turn the ball over.
And you're going to have a big play here. It's a counter. He's got the guard out in front of him. He just cut the man coming up from behind is basically the guy that punched it out of his arm. That would have been a big gainer, some momentum to start out. And now all of a sudden, the Wildcats have the football again. Right there, big turnover.
Herron to Grosinger, and he's hit hard after maybe gaining a yard. I believe, I'm not sure. I know they scored 1 touchdown after a turnover, and it is 14 points off turnovers for Eastland Pearl City. So they've gotten some breaks and taken advantage of them in this ball game, leading 21-0.
Well, they haven't had too many tough ball games in the 13 games. They've only had relatively one close one, and that was in the 11th game, 27-20. Aside from that, they've been kind of a...
Here's Clark. Oh, he's got him. He's open, and he's inside the 21. Last tackler missed him, and it's a touchdown, 61 yards. Devin Herron to Cody Cluck, his 2nd touchdown catch of the day. And it's a 27-0 lead for Eastland Pearl City.
What a great throw right here. Just steps up, gets the ball up in the air. Good break. The corner misses the play. He gets in the hole between the corner and the safety. Does a nice little kick right there to get into the end zone. But an excellent throw. And that's a backbreaker this early for Maroa-Forsyth. And that's, again, when you talk about a state champion, taking advantage of that turnover.
Silas Jacobs. 35 of 50 on the season coming into today. He is a perfect 4 of 4. 8 touchdown catches on the year for Cody Cluck. He's got 2 in this game, and he gives Eastland Pearl City a 28-0 lead on the Stee Right from Devin Herron.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, on the links or on the track, on the diamond or on the ice. Go to prepfilms.com. It's easy. You can order your DVD online. At prepfilms.com, you make the memories. We'll make them last forever. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
Eastland Pearl City up 28-0. Cody Cluck, boy, what a day to have your best game of your life. 2 touchdown catches. Devin Herron, that was a pretty throw by Herron in between a couple of blue jerseys. And Eastland Pearl City now 4 touchdowns in this game, 3 of them off turnovers. A total time of possession on their scoring drives of 5:59.
That is amazing. And what's also amazing is that these players are going 2 ways. Now, he played defensive back and wide receiver. He makes that play. A little huff-puff, gets a break on kickoff, maybe on special teams, and that's about it. And he's back in the ball game as a defensive back. I really admire these smaller schools with the smaller rosters, how well these athletes are conditioned, and what a great job the coaches do.
What a booming kickoff there. Eric Schaney bringing the boom. They talk about here comes the boom. You have not experienced high school football till you've been to an Eastland Pearl City game, Jack. I got to tell you, the stadium is like in a natural bowl right next to the school. People can park in the parking lot and see the game from their cars. They have, and we'll get to more of that story in just a minute, as Hockaday takes over 1st and 10. Not much room there, maybe a yard or 2. They have the big fire engine in the parking lot on the south side with the big sign, big banner hanging, here comes the boom, and they blow the horns. And then there was about 4 4x4 trucks up on the level above the field, between the field and the parking lot, blowing black smoke. And the players walked down the hill in a black fog. And it was a pretty impressive show. And I'm told it was nothing compared to what they did for homecoming.
Oh, bad snap.
Bad snap there. It looked like it. Did it hit the center's leg? It looked like it hit another player, and another turnover for Maroa-Forsyth. And Eastland Pearl City will take over again.
Can we take one more quick look at that? What happens is, I think it did hit his leg, but the intimidating factor when you're snapping out of the snap or out of the spread is when that center has a man on him, and in this case they have Austin Fisher, 280 pounds, that has dominated the center for most of the ball game. They've had to try to double team him, and in some cases triple team him, and it has not been real effective, and another big turnover.
Here comes the Maroa defense, though, and the sack. Brandon Owens-Price, we've called his name a couple of times today. Nice job there to
get a player down here.
Officials, timeout.
Stop Eastland Pearl City, dropping for a loss of about 6.
Yeah, we talked about that intimidation factor with Maroa City and having 2 titles and 2 second-place finishes. So they've been in the title game 4 times, which is very impressive. And this year, just to give our fans at home an idea of the program, Freshmen were 8-1, JV 9-0. They got a program, but today it's somebody else handling them.
Via TV, timeout.
As moms and dads, we don't get to choose those dreams, but our decisions can certainly play a part in their success. No matter what goals your family is chasing, Country Financial is here to help you give them the support and protection they need along the way. Country Financial, auto, home, life, business, retirement.
The IHSA is opportunity, participation, character, courage, sportsmanship. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
(28-0) Eastland Pearl City with the lead and the ball, and they're attending to an injured Maroa-Forsyth player down there. That is Beau Trudeau, a 5'10", 191-pound junior defensive lineman.
Well, everything that could go wrong for Maroa-Forsyth has gone wrong in this ball game. From drop snaps on punts to fumbles after a long play or a long run, and people in the middle of the field open catching the ball and getting whacked by a safety after a big gain. They've had some big gainers, and they've turned the ball over after that, and then Eastland Pearl City's just taken advantage of it. It's been so impressive how they jump on those turnovers and turn them into scores.
Eight minutes to go here in the third quarter. 28-0 Eastland Pearl City in control and looking to build on that lead as Heron gets the completion out to the near side to Donnie Grosinger.
What a great job right here by Hockaday getting out here. Now he's the inside linebacker. He's getting all the way out in the flat. And you see when he gets there, he's getting there with a lot of explosion. Now he's only, in a situation right now, he's only 210 pounds, but by the time his career is done, he'll probably be playing at about 230, maybe 240 pounds, an inside linebacker. He runs extremely well, has a great nose for the football from a defensive standpoint.
Leading tackler for Maroa-Forsyth. Heron looking to throw. Grosinger with the catch at the 15 and brought down near the 10-yard line. You talk about adding weight. Donnie Grosinger, who just made that catch, added 25 pounds in the offseason. Didn't play basketball, spent a lot of time in the weight room with Randy Ashe and the rest of the team.
Now that play was because the linebacker stunted, and the quarterback was smart enough to dump the ball right over the middle where the linebackers had vacated because they were both coming on a stunt. And a good job of recognition right there by Heron to realize that was the spot to go.
4th and 1. Grosinger gets the call in the first down. Randy Ashe says he's a do-it-all guy, best athlete on the team, and Randy Ashe happy to give him the ball here. 6:30 to go in the third quarter, and it's all Eastland Pearl City in this 2A state championship game.
Just a little power pitch to the outside. He turns it up inside because he didn't think he was going to be able to get to the edge, and a good job of an inside-out tackle by the linebackers. And he's an outstanding athlete because he's their backup quarterback. So it kind of tells you about their athletes.
1st and goal from the 7, no gain there. Eastland Pearl City now looking to join Forreston, Dakota, Lena Winslow, Freeport-Acquin, Galena, South Beloit, and Stockton as conference schools to reach the state title game since '02. They've already done that. They're looking to become what would now be the 11th champion 14 seasons for that conference. Forreston already winning the 1A state championship earlier today. Their only loss to the men in white and black and blue. Eastland Pearl City. Grossinger.
Oh, what a catch. What a
touchdown. The signal came late, but it's a touchdown for Donnie Grossinger. And another strike from Devin Herron. His third touchdown pass of the day.
You talk about threading the proverbial needle. He got inside position with the defensive back on his hip, is where you want to have him on those slant routes. And Herron just put the ball right up inside there. Excellent throw, but a better route getting that defender on your hip with that little quick step to the outside and turn inside, and he's automatically on your hip.
Silas Jacobs out of the Walter Ollie hold. 35-0, Eastland Pearl City. 28 points now off turnovers.
Good job there by Randy Ash telling his players. He talked about that going into the break about second half. You got to produce in the second half. The ball is right on the money with the defender on his hip, and that's the only place it could be, was low and inside, and that's exactly where it was.
And we saw the explosiveness of this Eastland Pearl City offense last week against Fieldcrest, down 20-6. They scored 40 unanswered points, and they are putting on quite a show here today, taking full advantage of Maroa-Forsyth mistakes. 4 turnovers have been turned into 4 touchdowns for Eastland Pearl City. Class 2A champs the last 5 years. Well, Eastland Pearl City lost to Morrison, lost to Central Catholic, lost to Morrison, lost to Newman Central Catholic in the playoffs, and here they are, ready to win their own state championship today and another one for their conference, the NUIC.
And in the 5th game of the year this year, they played last year's state champion, Lena Winslow. And that was in the 5th game of the year, and that kind of, I think, maybe steamrolled him into realizing that we can, that, the old we believe in ourselves. They beat them 40-14, defending state champ, and so I think that was a big factor in allowing them to believe that they could go all the way.
Jack Hockaday still on his feet at the 40. He retreated a little bit, now brought down at the 42-yard line. 27 yards on the kick return. Now he comes up favoring that left ankle a little bit.
This young man certainly is the offense and defensive threat for Maroa-Forsyth. I mean, he catches the ball. He's deep on kicks. Best defensive player they have. Runs from quarterback position. You talk about a well-conditioned athlete.
Finds a gap here and now brought down across midfield. Hangs onto the ball. That tackle pretty high there. Brighton Haverland had him right around the shoulders.
Well, again, you're saying, we look at the score, but we have to remember statistically, all through the year, Maroa-Forsyth's only averaged 150 yards throwing the football, but they've rushed for almost 260 yards a game. So their game is not throwing the football, it's running the football, and that becomes really tough when you have a big deficit such as they have right now.
Keegan Schubert the carry there. Maroa with the first down here. Trailing 35-0. This has kind of gotten away from them, and that's not something they're used to seeing happen. Changing things up a little bit. Some fresh legs in there. DeAndre Gregory with his 2nd straight carry. Josh Joseph says we've had more talented teams. Not sure we've had one with as big a heart as these kids. Got better every week this season. It's the smallest senior class he's had since he's been at Maroa, since his first year.
Defense.
Eastland Pearl City calls timeout. 4:05 to play here in the 3rd.
Well, this is one of our smaller teams, but at any certain points during the year, he has started 7 sophomores on some occasions, and in key situations, a freshman. So you're looking at a situation where you know, they're going to be back. They have a young team now. Of course, they're losing a stud player in Jack Hockaday, but their lower levels have been very successful. The freshmen were 8-1. The JVs were 9-0. Start 7 sophomores at certain times and the freshmen. So, you know, they've been in 11 consecutive state playoffs. So there's that bad snap that started everything off early on in the year or in the game, and ever since then, another bad snap here as far as the receiver handling the football, and it's been all downhill for Maroa-Forsyth. Right there, even the smallest little thing is going wrong for him.
Randy Ashe didn't like something he saw out there. He was barking at his team. Last 4 possessions have ended in turnovers for Maroa-Forsyth. Hockaday trying to make something happen here, and he does. Scrambling outside now, gets a block. He's down inside the 20, and a flag on that. That block was in the back, I believe, or maybe a clip.
Just an outstanding athlete here, looking down the field.
Block in the back.
Trying to make something happen, and he gets the clip. Will be coming right into your shot right there.
Yep.
And a long gainer again negated by a penalty, and this has been going on the entire ball game. They get a big play, and they'll either have a penalty and or cough it up with a fumble at the end of the play.
Maroa has hurt themselves in many ways today with the penalties, the turnovers, and Eastland Pearl City's been right there to just pounce on them.
Well, they've been capitalizing on all of the turnovers and taking advantage of it, but for the most part, Maroa-Forsyth has been their own worst enemy. Now, obviously, Eastland Pearl City has contributed to that, but a lot of unprecedented turnovers. He's got him.
Oh, and he tripped and fell. DeAndre Gregory, the freshman, was open. That's that little kind of a fake. It looks like Hockaday's going to run, and then he stops all of a sudden, pulls up and throws, and he had the man, but Gregory got tripped up.
That's a well-designed play, because when you get a quarterback like that, he gets out on the edge, and they want the corner to come up to play the run, and then the receiver gets in behind him, and he gets tripped up right there on that turf.
Hockaday keeps it on 2nd down, and he'll have a 1st down inside the 35-yard line.
Again, we look at that quarterback wearing both gloves. Oftentimes you'll see the quarterback wear it on his left hand, but certainly not on his throwing hand. So that kind of tells me he's more of a true linebacker, running back than a throwing quarterback. Throughout the year, he's thrown the ball about, on average, 15 times a ball game in the 13 games that they've played. He's completed 10 of them for 146 yards, which isn't too bad, and that's 22 touchdowns throwing the football, but today it's just not happening.
Over 9,000 career yards for Jack Hockaday.
That's an amazing statistic, but you know what? I can see it based on how he runs and what he does. There it is.
Flips it over the middle to Josh Gilbert. They're trying to, again, that's that same kind of play where they're trying to draw the defense up to him and make them commit and then dump it over the head of him.
And you could never run that play if you didn't have a quarterback that was that effective running the football, because they would never, ever come up on that particular play if he wasn't that good a runner. So that's really a well-designed play, whether it be up the middle and or out on the edges. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Ooh, got it.
By the nose of the football for Jack Hockaday and the Trojans.
Got a little limp there.
143 yards on the ground for Jack Hockaday.
27 carries. He's a workhorse, and then not coming out of the ball game. I think the only play he came out was that ill-advised punt that they lost. That's the only time he's been out of the ball game, either offensively or defensively. Oh, he's got somebody wide open.
Didn't get rid of it, so takes it himself down to the 20.
For the most part, if you had to analyze to this point what's been going on, it's a combination of a lot of mistakes an advantage being taken by Eastland Pearl City, and the line of scrimmage being dominated on both sides of the ball by Eastland. And I'll tell you, somebody that's doing an incredible job up front is number 70, Austin Fisher. He is just dominating by himself 3 people. He's controlling the center and 2 guards at the point of attack. Right there, you can see him, number 70. 5'10", 280-pound senior.
Hockaday down inside the 5, and now a flag comes in late. Could be a face mask. You know, really, if you watch this, it's almost like Hockaday it's almost like a wildcat with a guy that can throw.
That's exactly what it is. There's no doubt about it. It's a wildcat, and they run. It was very good on your part. And they run a lot of similar plays that you'll see with guards pulling and tackle pulling. And, I mean, that's the offense that they run, and run it very successfully. You can see right here, it's just a lead play. With your back coming up there, and here's your face mask right there, and a late hit coming in after it. So,
first and goal. Hockaday finds the end zone for the first time today. And Maroa-Forsyth on the board.
All the years I've been doing the state championship games, the worst thing I can imagine is not scoring in the state championship game. I really don't like to see somebody shut out. When you come this far, you need to get on the board.
Well, Jack Hockaday has earned it today with the workmanlike effort he's put in. They will go for 2 here. Get a good view of it from the end zone. Hockaday, it's picked off by Brighton Haverland. So no extra point, but at least a touchdown, at least something to show for the great effort by that young man and his linemen, of course, and everybody else blocking downfield. That's one thing about Maroa-Forsyth that kind of gets overlooked, is the blocking of their receivers. You know, they do an excellent job downfield blocking and making those things happen for Jack Hockaday.
When you have teams that have records like this and are playing in a state championship game, all phases of the game have to be clicking. And that has a tribute to their coaching staff, where they spend a lot of time. There's certain drills that you work on for downfield blocking, and also for just stalk blocking out on the edges where your corner and your receivers are blocking each other. And it works both ways. The receiver gets something out of it by taking on that block and still being able to control the line of scrimmage if they're running towards him, so it works both ways. But the organization for practices for some of these smaller schools, because their numbers are smaller, really has to be orchestrated extremely well to get the most out of a practice session.
And that's one thing Athens coach Ryan Knox said after losing to Maroa-Forsyth in the quarterfinal. Said their receivers blocked a lot better than we anticipated. Said the DBs had a hard time getting off those stock blocks.
Well, and sometimes that has a lot to do with holding, but
well,
and that's become a big play at all levels. You'll see that at the college level and the professional level now. The outside screens where they get the ball out very quickly out in the edges to get away from the interior linemen and the linebackers, and then that receiver has to be a blocker. It used to be all they had to do was catch the football. Now they have to be able to block and catch the ball.
They'll go onside here. Hockaday almost ran it down himself.
They got it. No,
I think it's Connor Isles with it. Boy, Hockaday almost followed it himself. He almost got it, didn't he?
He did. He's actually the one that created the turnover there, because he hit it and then it bounced a little further along. So again, this will be a situation. Let's see him following it right up. Yep, he's the one that kicks it a little further. There's your possession right now. Can they take advantage of it? Minute and 42 left in the third quarter.
I don't think he drove the bus, but he's done just about everything else today. Hockaday rolling right, pressure, throws it late, picked off. Picked off by Cody Cluck. He's got 2 big catches in this game of a touchdown variety, and he comes up with the interception here. He had 2 against Forreston earlier this year 18 yards after the interception.
Now that play has gone often enough that the defensive backs are aware of it. You can see how he tucks the ball, but the safety just cuts right in front of him, knowing that he was the man that's actually the slot or tight end coming up the middle. He just breaks on the ball right here. An excellent job. And this is good scouting and good athletes in the secondary that come up. Now we're looking at, I think, ball control because they're coming out in the wishbone look.
Eastland Pearl City had already set a school record with 25 interceptions coming into today. And that's at least 2 in this ball game.
There's a little trap up inside right there. Guard pulling. And Schubert coming back. Kind of bounced it out a little too far. When you run in that trap inside, they want to kick out, and you're supposed to run up inside of it, not outside of the trap. And I'm sure right there you can see that the coach has said, inside, son, inside.
Final minute now of the third quarter. Eastland Pearl City in command. Eric Schaney with the carry.
Same play going to the other side, but that time he ran
Eric
up
Schaney
inside the trap.
Tackled by
Austin
Hockaday.
Fisher, number 70. Now there's a young man that's played an excellent game, Austin Fisher. Also as a lineman, getting that running game going on the offensive side of the ball, and then defensively controlling the line of scrimmage as the nose man, controlling 3 people, the center and both guards. So he's had an outstanding game.
3rd and 3. Keegan Schubert, the sophomore, in off the bench with another carry. Some fresh legs for Randy Ashey's team.
It's a first down for Eastland.
First down for the Wildcats. They put up 500 yards of offense in a win over Amboy Lamoille, 54-6 win in round 1 of the playoffs. Beat Spring Valley Hall in round 2. Ollie said that was probably the most physical game of the year for them. They knocked off number 1 Rock Ridge on the road and made Snow Angels on the field after upsetting the top-ranked team in the state. And then beat Fieldcrest last week at home. And they are large and in charge here, leading Maroa-Forsyth 35-0, the second-ranked team in the state, 12 minutes away from being a state champion.
IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is opportunity, participation, character, courage, sportsmanship. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association. The IHSA is sportsmanship, competition, pageantry, strength, respect. The future plays here, the Illinois High School.
12 minutes to play in our 2A state championship game. Lee Hall, Jack McInerney, Matt Rodewald, Kelly Burke, all with you here from Champaign. Hope you're enjoying your Black Friday. Hope you didn't pull any muscles or strain anything too badly at the mall. Christmas is going to come about a month early for Eastland Pearl City. and the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference. 2 state championships back-to-back here at 1A and 2A. And that's going to happen, I believe, for the Wildcats here today, barring something really unforeseen in the final 12 minutes. They have taken advantage of the breaks, and defensively they had kept Maroa-Forsyth out of the end zone until late in the third quarter. This is Keegan Schubert, who's kind of taken over the reins of the running game here in the latter stages of the third, now the early fourth quarter for Eastland Pearl City.
They've been coming out in the wishbone here in the fourth quarter. No double tight ends, full house backfield, and they're going to be very content to just run the ball and run the clock. And they have the advantage of having the clocks in the end zone so the quarterback can see when to snap, get it down to about the 4-second mark, 5-second mark, and run your play.
Now a flag. Well, that's kind of what you expect when you see the NUIC teams. You kind of, I mean, the Lena Winslows and the Dakotas, you see a lot of that. But Eastland Pearl City adding a little bit of depth to their offensive abilities, being able to throw the ball. And Devin Herron, what a game he's had. 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run for the 6'4", 200-pound senior captain, number 2. 2 times he's thrown for 1,000 yards. Last year he had 23 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. His ratio not quite as good this year, but
no,
he's not a stats guy according to his coach. I mean, Randy Ashe told us earlier this week all he cares about is winning. He's not worried about stats.
Well, he threw 10 interceptions this year, but in his defense, when you're not throwing it as much, he still had 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns from a team that really is a running football team, and that really helps the running game because that play-action pass opens up, and there's still that threat of throwing the ball, so they've got to play it a little looser.
Oh, big stick there by Luke Hockaday. Jack Hockaday. Sorry, Mom. Cheryl.
That's just an excellent job right there of filling. When you get an active linebacker like that, usually somebody's trying to cut him off because once he sees the flow, he comes up usually between the tackles and the B gap or the C gap to fill, and he's so quick to get to the football, they just can't get to him. And then when he gets to the football, he gets there kind of nasty.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Got a pretty good stick on there. 2nd and 10. Herron looking to throw. Looking for Haberlin. And a flag on the play there. Brighton Haberlin was the intended receiver. And there's a flag at the 1, and that will likely be pass interference.
Well, he had 2 defenders on him, and that's exactly what they've got. This is your day. Just get it up in the air, make something happen. And he had nothing to lose right there by throwing the ball up there because it would have been out of reach of the defenders who were underneath. So the worst case scenario would have been either interference, a plus, or an incomplete pass over his head. I think you're taking a look at a very resigned, at this point, coaching staff, somewhat depressed about their showing today. Because those 3 losses they had, we mentioned in the open, those 3 losses came only a total of 8 points against some outstanding football teams.
St. Teresa out of Decatur, Tolono Unity, and St. Joe Ogden, the teams to beat Maroa-Forsyth in the regular season. And Schaney brought down after a gain of 1. And Jack Hockaday said earlier, if you play bad competition all year, you come across a good team in the playoffs, you're not used to being introduced to adversity. He says, we've been introduced to it now and feel like we know how to handle it. So they come in at 10-3 and unranked, but Josh Roop, the head coach at Tri-Valley, told me before the opening round of the playoffs, he says, Maroa is a number 1 seed. You know, they're a 6 seed or whatever they were, but really they're a 1 seed with the schedule they play.
Well, you know, there's a lot of teams that get on a roll in the playoffs, and I'll give you a perfect example of that. In 2001, the first year of the 8A state championships, I was in Downers Grove South. We finished the regular season at 7-2, and we got on a roll in the playoffs. And we got to the semifinals and beat an undefeated Maine South team in double overtime, and then went to the finals and beat an outstanding Naperville Central team. So you can get on a roll, and so if you look at the record and say, well, they got a couple of losses, there's no way. Don't believe that, folks.
Right. Here's the pitch to Walter Ollie. He takes a pretty good hit from Whitaker, brought down at the 4-yard line, just shy of the 4.
Now they're just happy keeping the ball inbounds. They don't really, if they get another score, great, but keep that clock running is what they want to do. Keep the ball inside. No stoppage to the clock.
Before the season started, Randy Ashley said that this is a hungry group and a group that won't back down. We've seen a lot of that here today. Aaron looking to throw. Hit as he throws it and broken up there. And David Whitaker on the coverage.
Kind of surprised that they're trying to throw it in rather than run it in, because they've really controlled the line of scrimmage and been very effective running the football. But maybe that's why he's play action, because he's figuring that they've got 10 guys in the box, and but every time you throw it like that, the clock stops.
All-Stater Austin Fisher up front, Michael Sheriff, Jared Gowan, Dylan Baldoff, and Chase Geed up front for Eastland Pearl City, and Walter Ollie untouched into the end zone. And it's been all Wildcats today.
Well, that was a perfect example of where everybody bunched up inside between the tackles, and he was able to just bounce it outside to run to the pylon. Nobody out there.
Good golly, it's Ollie.
I wonder who that was made up by. Think it was anybody in the family? Oh, we're going to get a flag here. Illegal substitution. And that might be one of the very few penalties that Eastland has had today. Kind of a quiet crowd, and you get a game that goes like this.
Yeah.
Even the winning team's crowd is kind of slow, and they're just kind of all sitting there congratulating each other.
Silas Jacobs, no. Ollie will go for the fake, throwing into the end zone and incomplete. Silas Jacobs a perfect 5 for 5 on extra points, but they tried to pull a little razzle-dazzle there, no good. But Ollie with the touchdown, and it's a 41-6 lead for Eastland Pearl City.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here. The Illinois High School Association.
The IHSA Championships are proudly presented by Country Financial. For your auto, home, life, business, and retirement needs, call the Country Financial representative near you. Grow your own way. Lee Hall, Jack McInerney with you, and there's our officials. Dave Kuzma, Leland Broach. There's another Leland here today. How about that? Steve Frank, Gregory Liam Bruni and William Evink. Congratulations, gentlemen. Earned their way to state just like the players. 8:31 to play here, 41-6. Eastland Pearl City leading Maroa-Forsyth. Eastland Pearl City will join Forreston as conference members winning a state championship. Kickoff fumbled and rolls around. Maroa-Forsyth will hang on to it. Connor Isles there to save the day in what's been a long day for the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans.
Well, unfortunately, you know, everybody has an off day. Now, sometimes you have an off day and you still win, and the scoreboard is on your side, but it's tough to have an off day in the state championship game.
Jack Hockaday making something happen here. He's got first down yardage and more. Cuts it back at the 30 and brought down at the 26-yard line after a pickup of 32.
He is an impressive competitor.
Thrown down by Walter.
Very impressive competitor. And it's quite obvious that he would rather run with the football than throw the football, because he pulled the ball down after relatively light pressure to scramble with it and pick up a big gainer.
1,700 yards running, 1,800 yards throwing this year for Jack Hockaday. Chad Howell takes it down to the 16-yard line.
Well, it's just been a situation where they've had turnovers in very crucial times, and then their opponent has been able to take advantage of it, and that's how you get to these games, and that's how you eventually win them, is taking advantage of those turnovers.
2 interceptions thrown by Jack Hockaday and 3 fumbles, 5 turnovers total, all turning into points for Eastland Pearl City in this championship game. 3A state championship coming up next here from Champaign. And they'll play 4A under the lights tonight, starting about 7 o'clock, and more championship action here tomorrow. 2nd down and 7. Hockaday gives to Chad Howell. He's down inside the 5-yard line. So this Maroa-Forsyth team not quitting by any stretch of the imagination. It's been a rough day, and they've made mistakes, and you know they're down by 35 points with 7:15 to play, but they're still going at it.
Well, that's why you have a great program.
Hockaday stuck at the 5-yard line. Walter Ollie in there with the stop. He's pound for pound the best hitter, according to his coach, Randy Ashe.
You know, these players realize that this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for most schools and most players. Now, in the case of Maroa, they've been here before, but it's not always that same class that's been here. So they want to take advantage of it, and they just want to play good, hard-nosed football because they know there's no tomorrow in those cases.
Hockaday to Logan Alsop. We haven't heard much from him today. He's brought down after a gain of a couple. Logan Alsop, 511 yards receiving this season, the heir apparent at quarterback. Let's go downstairs to Kelly.
Well, guys, the Trojans being cheered on here on the sideline by Montarius Howe. He was the 2nd best player and running back, but was injured in week 4, suffered a broken leg that coach just called gruesome. But he's been out here today. He's served as a source of inspiration for this team. They've rallied around him the rest of the way this season. And when Bo Trudeau got injured earlier today, he was the first guy that came over to console him and comfort him. Obviously can relate. Lee?
All right, Kelly, thank you. Yeah, that's pretty tough. You hate to see a senior get hurt. They don't have that red shirt like you do in college, and it's all over.
Yeah, you're right, and it's really sad you don't get a chance to really play in the big game that defines your high school career.
4th and goal. Hockaday gets into the end zone for the touchdown, his 2nd score of the day.
Determined effort right there in this entire drive by Jack Hockaday. he was going to get into that end zone. And just really impressed with the effort, even down here by the defense of Eastland Pearl City. They have really done a great job defensively, shutting down a very potent offense of Maroa-Forsyth. I mean, you're talking about a team that, you know, it scores over 40 points a game and averages about 415 yards of total offense.
Hockaday to Logan Alsup, and that the same play they just ran a couple of minutes ago and stopped again by the EPC defense. 41-12 after Hockaday's second touchdown run of the game. We mentioned we've got 3A state championship football coming up for you next on Comcast Sportsnet. Wilmington and Williamsville at 4 o'clock, followed by Phillips and Rochester at 7. And 4 more games for you tomorrow. Perennial Powers Montini and Sacred Heart Griffin knocking heads for the second straight year in the 5A title game. Nazareth Academy facing Lamont at 1 o'clock. Then it's Cary Grove against Providence Catholic. In 7A, Stevenson and Homewood Flossmoor rounding out the weekend here in Champaign.
And Montini is in it for the 6th year in a row. They tried to win it last year, be one of the only teams to go 5 consecutive years of winning the state championship, and Sacred Heart Griffin did not allow them to do that, so Montini's back for their 6th consecutive trip. That's quite a feat for Chris Andriano and his Broncos of Montini. But he's facing a juggernaut there in Sacred Heart Griffin. I think they have a state record of averaging about 58 points a game in their 13 wins thus far. So there's going to be some big shootouts tomorrow, and we still got quite a few big shootouts yet to come this afternoon.
Here comes another onside kick. And recovered that time by Eastland Pearl City. Our Country Financial Player of the game, no shock here, 6'4", 200-pound senior Devin Herron, number 2 in your program, number 1 in your hearts after today. 3 touchdown throws, a touchdown run for Devin Herron as he leads the Wildcats to their first state championship. Just 5 minutes and 31 seconds away. He is our Country Financial Player of the game.
Quite a bit of pinpoint accuracy by him today.
Hands it off to Walter Ollie here. Randy Ashe, a Pearl City alum, the head coach, played his college ball at Loras, and he's going to bring home a state champion here in just about 5 minutes.
Well, last year they were 10-1. And, you know, when you have a record like that, you're just saying to yourself and to the kids, you know, we were just a step away, a game away, an interception, a fumble, away from getting a little further down the road. And this year was a long road of 14 games to get here, and they're certainly taking advantage of it.
2nd and 5 with under 5 minutes to go now. Keegan Schubert getting another carry. And this is a team, Jack, that, you know, it wasn't all wine and roses on the way here either. I mean, they were down 20-6 to Fieldcrest last week after the first play of the 3rd quarter. Fieldcrest threw a touchdown pass, and it looked like, hey, oh boy, Fieldcrest is going to take advantage here, take control, and Eastland Pearl City is going to be out of this. They scored 40 straight points, and after the game, coach said, you know, these guys refuse to lose. Sometimes they have to get slapped to wake them up, but they refuse to lose.
Well, football is a character builder. And that's exactly what happens in games like that. And, you know, for young men anywhere from 16 to 18 years old to go through those kind of emotional peaks and valleys, you know, it's tough. So you can tell a lot when your team is down and how they react to that. And when they come back and win, well, it tells you something about their character and tells you something about the coaching staff also.
Well, they faced a similar situation in the quarterfinals on the road at Rock Ridge, ranked number 1 in the state. Gave up a touchdown, 14-0. One of the sophomores got beat on the play. He came over to the sideline and said, hey, coach, my bad. I mean, it just doesn't faze them, you know. I mean, they don't show fear, you know. And Randy told us earlier this week, you know, we're not rattled by big plays because we make them ourselves. It's just one play. So, you know, one big play happens, boom, they put it out of their mind, and they've shown that mental toughness here today. Let's go downstairs.
The Eastland Pearl City kids are going to win a state championship, but an injury update 4 years in the making. You can see the guy with the hood on in the blue jacket right there. That's Chase Geed. He tore his ACL the summer before his freshman year to play football. He tried to play through it, but he ended up tearing it completely, hearing 3 pops playing on that sophomore team. Of course, it took him all the way to his junior year before he finally had full strength in that knee. He's considered the heart and soul of the defense, the toughest kid on the team, all-state linebacker, 3rd on the team in tackles leading into this game. But midway through the 3rd quarter today, that same right knee gave out once again. A lot of the teammates, a lot of the coaches have been coming over to him to give him congratulations on a great career. Hang in there, buddy. Lots of smiles on their faces, but obviously a little bittersweet because he won't get to enjoy the full celebration here when Eastland Pearl City wins the state championship.
But
he'll have that medal around his neck.
That's exactly right. And the thing is, thankfully, he was able to play in the game.
Absolutely.
Rather than getting hurt like last week or whatever. So he did have the opportunity to play in this ball game. So that's a big plus for him. And I think that he's well aware of that, too. He'd been quite a bit more despondent had he gotten hurt in the first play of the game or the last play of last week and not had a chance to play today.
Walter Ollie, the carry for first down. Yeah, that will ease a little of the pain, I would think, that state championship. Chase Geed, a huge part of this team, as Matt mentioned, IFCA All-Stater, 6'2", 190-pound senior captain.
Well, he'll have that medal placed around his neck up on that podium, and that's always a fantastic ceremony at the end of these ball games.
Keegan Schubert again. 10 two-way starters for Eastland Pearl City.
And now we're getting a chance to get some of the younger players into the ball game, which is always nice. Make sure that any seniors that have not been playing, that you get them in the game, which is a great sportsmanship gesture by obviously the coaches and both staffs to make sure their seniors get an opportunity to say they played in the state championship game.
And the carry there for Peyton Klaus, a 6', 175-pound sophomore, number 30. Total offense, Jack. Here's what turnovers do for you. Eastland Pearl City, 302 yards. Maroa-Forsyth, 301 yards.
Well, that's not all that different than the first half.
41-12, the difference on the scoreboard.
You know, at halftime it was 21-zip, and we had Eastland Pearl City with 165 yards of total offense and Maroa-Forsyth with 154. So you talk about taking advantage of turnovers. This would be the kind of game where you could really use that as an example.
Peyton Klaus again. What a thrill for Randy Ashe, the Pearl City alum, to now lead this Eastland Pearl City co-op to the state championship and join that great tradition of the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference.
A lot of late additions coming into the ball game.
Victory formation here for the Wildcats. And nobody will forget the Wildcats with a Z. The big smile on Chase Geed's face right there as he sheds that coat, hugs the teammates. The Gatorade shower being prepared for Randy Ashe as he'll play out the final 17 seconds here. And just another tip of the cap to the NUIC. We've done several of their games and become big believers in that conference and how they play football. The Lena Winslows and the Dakotas. Now the Forestons and the Eastland Pearl Cities join the likes of those teams. And Stockton and Dakota, we sent Dakota, Galena, Aquin. There's a carry for DeAndre Gregory, a nice carry for the freshman.
A tough schedule can oftentimes be the difference in how far you get in the playoffs, because if you play patsies early and you win and you don't really have to earn it, that can be your downfall throughout the season. You'll see more and more teams now playing tougher schedules because they know that it's going to lead to better production later on in the season, and certainly when they get to the playoffs.
Final 10 seconds of the 2A state championship game. Tyler Ray runs it out for Maroa-Forsyth. A great run to the state championship game for Maroa-Forsyth, and an unbeaten state championship for Eastland Pearl City as they dominate here today. 41-12 your final. The Wildcats are your 2A state champions. Look out, coach.
Ooh,
here it comes.
Oh, they went below the shoulder. That's no good. That's about the only mistake they've made today.
You got to get in the weight room so you can get that Gatorade thing over your shoulder, man. I still think they got Randy Ashey's attention. 41-12, the medal ceremony and the trophies coming up next.
Series to the 2014 championship game. Great success it has been.
All right, I'm going to go home and watch these games. Grade you.
Okay. Not too many tests I've ever passed, so.
Hey, how was that?
I said there's not too many tests I've ever passed, so I wouldn't expect your grade to be real high.
Ah, come on. I can see Kelly from way up here with that pink hat. Good golly, it's Ollie. Sure like the bone.
You better watch all those. You're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't be firing any blanks.
There's Eastland Pearl City, your 2A state champs, 41-12 over Maroa-Forsyth. Let's go downstairs to Matt Rodewald.
Randy Ashey, you could not have expected as dominating a performance as your kids had today. How tough are they? They executed very well tonight.
Well, they've shown that toughness, that grit, that resiliency all year long. I mean, we got some kids beat up and hurt, and somebody just steps in. They just played, outstanding. I mean, dream come true for most of them. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm having a hard time figuring out what I'm feeling right now.
You had Walters hurt, you had Cody hurt last week, and you had Chase go down once again. How tough are these kids to power through these injuries to come through with the state championship?
They're incredibly tough. I mean, I kind of tease them. I always tell them they're like leather. They just don't break. They just keep working. They just keep working. They just keep doing what they have to do, and they step up. And to finish a game like this, I don't know. That was a physical game, and it was a physical team, and I just thought the kids played real hard and stayed in it the whole way.
Congratulations, Coach. We'll let you celebrate.
Thank you very much.
Kelly?
Well, joined by player of the game, Devin Herron. Devin, you did it all today. First championship in school history. What does this mean for this school and for this town?
I can't even begin to tell you what it means. I mean, it's unbelievable. It hasn't quite hit me yet. And it's awesome. All our hard work paid off, and it's awesome.
A lot of teams might have come into a game like this intimidated, especially by the experience of Maroa-Forsyth in state. You guys clearly weren't. Tell me about the mindset you took into this game. You got going after it from the get-go.
Yeah, we knew they were a great team, and Jack Hockaday, he's a great quarterback, so our goal was to shut him down and just shut their team down as a whole. And I think everybody executed, and we did that.
Offensively, you had a number of quick scoring drives. You and Cody Cluck clearly on the same page today. What was working for you?
Well, Cody's a great receiver, and he makes the plays. So I just do my job, put the ball where he can make the play, and he does his job and catches it, and it works.
Well, we wish you congratulations, and you'll have a lot to celebrate today and tomorrow, so we'll let you get to it. Lee, back to you up in the booth.
Thank you, Kelly. Devin Herron, our player of the game, and deservedly so. 3 touchdown passes, a touchdown run in a dominant performance today by Eastland Pearl City.
Well, they took advantage of every opportunity. You talk about a team that is opportunistic. They